Self-harm is when somebody intentionally harms or injures their body as a way of coping with or expressing overwhelming emotional distress. Self-harm may be how someone copes in the moment. It is not who they are and may not always be a part of their lives. Self-harm may be something that someone does once or twice, or it may vary in frequency throughout their life. Self-harm is different for every person. Self-harm, whilst harmful, is a way of regulating emotion and may feel like it's the only option at that point. Self-harm is more common than generally realised and is often hidden or underreported. There is no one typical person who self-harms. People of all cultures, nationalities, and genders may self-harm, and it is a behaviour that can be experienced by all ages. Typically, it starts between 12 and 14, peaking at 15 to 17, but people who self-harm can be older or younger. There are lots of different ways in which someone might self-harm. Some people may use the same method, whilst others may use different ways at different times. Self-harm is often used as a means of regulating emotion through releasing of tension or using physical pain to reduce emotional distress as a way of expressing emotion or to give a sense of control. There may be a specific experience which has led to the self-harming behaviour, but sometimes the reason for it may be less clear and harder to make sense of. Try not to ask why, as this can be overwhelming, and the person who is self-harming may not always know themselves why they do it. Everyone who self-harms, regardless of the reason, deserves empathy and help. There is a lot of stigma around self-harm, so it's important that it is talked about in a sensitive and compassionate way to reduce any feelings of shame and enable people to get the support that they need. Self-harm isn't attention-seeking behaviour or manipulative. There is nothing wrong with a person wanting to have their feelings taken seriously. It also isn't just a part of youth culture which young people will grow out of. Language can be important. For example, try not to refer to people as a self-harmer. This suggests that it is a part of their identity rather than just behaviour. We don't always know what words people will be comfortable with, but we can ensure we think about the words that we use. Self-harm is often hidden, so it can be hard to spot the signs. But there may be changes in behaviour that can indicate someone might be struggling, such as withdrawing, low mood, behaving in ways they don't normally, or changes in sleeping pattern, for instance, sleeping more or less. People may also have unexplained injuries or marks, or cover their body more than usual or is necessary, such as wearing long sleeves in warm weather as a way of hiding their injuries. If you're worried about someone, it's always safer to ask. They may not be ready to talk, but knowing that you are ready to listen may be the hope that they need. Having someone tell you that they are self-harming can be shocking and frightening to hear. It can be hard to know how to react, and you may feel anxious and scared. But how you respond and communicate can make a big difference to the person who is self-harming. Try to stay calm and empathise with them, and relate to them as a whole person, not just their self-harm. Try to use the same language as them. It can show you are listening and trying to understand. People who self-harm often do so to feel a sense of control, so try not to take this away from them by making decisions for them. You could start by simply asking them what they think might help. It is appropriate to ask whether any injuries require medical help. Remember that the extent of the self-harm does not indicate the level of distress a person is experiencing. It's important to take all distress seriously. You can also support someone to distract themselves or self-soothe, for example, doing something enjoyable or relaxing together. Try not to assume what will help, but instead ask the person you are worried about. Exposure to self-harm by other people may increase the risk. The influence of inappropriate media reporting and portrayal of self-harm can be particularly strong amongst young people, such as seeing harmful content online. This is why it's important to talk about self-harm and to help people access support and relevant services. When talking about self-harm with someone, asking about their use of social media and the internet can help understand the risks. Self-harm is a behaviour, not who they are. Invite them to occasions and events as you normally would, to show you've not changed your opinion of them. You don't always have to talk about self-harm. Just sitting with them and checking in regularly over the phone or social media could be enough. Not everyone who self-harms will feel suicidal or have plans to take their own life, but self-harm and suicide can be linked. If you're worried about someone, ask directly whether they are suicidal and whether they feel able to keep themselves safe. Remember that it is okay to talk about self-harm. Talking doesn't increase the risk and can often reduce it. We know that asking isn't always easy, and talking about self-harm can feel scary. The free Zero Suicide Alliance online training can help you feel more confident speaking to someone about suicide. There are lots of services available to support people who are struggling with how they are feeling, but it can sometimes be difficult to work out which service is best. You can find more information about services and advice about helping someone by visiting www.notalone.org. If someone needs immediate support, you can call 111 and select option 2. It might feel hard to contact services when somebody you know is struggling. You can help in simple ways, such as asking, "I've got a list of services. Should we look at them together and see if anything looks helpful?" Or, "Is there anything I can do to help you make that phone call?" You can also help by going to appointments with them if they would like that, or by being with them whilst they make the phone call. Showing care and empathy like this can go a long way. Supporting someone who is struggling can be difficult. Taking care of your own well-being is important too. If you need support, it's okay to ask for it. You can view our other videos to get some ideas on how to support yourself and your loved ones by visiting our website at www.nottinghamshire.gov.uk/adult social care/mental health wellbeing. For support now or any time, day or night, call 111 option 2.